This is Mr. Peterson's YouTube channel. I am Peterson. Welcome to Potato TV. This video is being recorded on March 3rd, which is exactly 1 year away from Super Tuesday, the U.S. primary political cycle. Super Tuesday is where 10 states from across the nation will vote for a presidential party nominee in a single night. And I am going to make a very early prediction based on the current trends and candidates for US president. Obviously, it's way too early to guess the eventual nominees and winners. I will actually place my bets and make an official prediction before the Iowa caucuses. Iowa caucuses February 3rd, 2020. I'll probably make it on my birthday, which is in January. Oh, yeah, my birthday, where I turn 50. Happy birthday, lols. This video is only for fun. Anyway, let's take a look at the current candidates that we have. Here we have the Democrats, but we're going to come up here to the Republicans first. You know, we have, of course, the President of the United States, Donald Trump. He is a heavily favored incumbent. It is very, very hard to unseat a sitting president. Um, we have this guy, Bill Weld, never heard of him, governor of Massachusetts. Guess he was the Libertarian nominee for vice president in 2016. Hadn't noticed. Don't see him doing very, very much. Then we have these more recognizable names here. We got a former senator from Tennessee, Bob Corker, current governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan. You might want to lay off the cheeseburgers, Larry. And then 2016 candidate and former governor of Ohio, John Kasich. He really wants to run. I think he will if he thinks he can beat Trump. Problem is, the Republican Party is pretty frozen under Donald Trump. They're afraid to criticize him as the backlash is heavy and severe, and it could be a career suicide move to do so. That's just the state of the Republican Party now. Anyways, hands down, I won't even change my prediction next January. Republican nominee will be Donald Trump. But then we have this huge open field of Democrats. Huge, huge field. I was going to make a more in-depth analysis of these candidates, but in all reality, candidates come and go all the time. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown. We got very popular Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey. He has support of a lot of African Americans. He also has an apparent close ties with Wall Street, as well as he supports what's called charter schools, in other words, private schools, and the public school teachers' unions are not very happy with him, so he might have a difficult time capturing the nomination because he will be angering the progressive left. New guy, mayor of South Bend, Pete Buttigieg. He is an openly LGBTQ person. If he were to win the nomination and presidency, he would be the first openly LGBTQ candidate to hold office in the presidency. He is gaining a lot of attention virally, so he might be a sleeper. We have former U.S. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Julian Castro, former mayor of San Antonio as well. He worked under President Obama. He's got a little bit of name recognition. Good candidate from Texas. I just don't see him gaining a lot of traction. We have the former U.S. Representative from Maryland, John Delaney. He has been basically running for president for 2 years. However, he's been living in Iowa, and the most recent poll for Iowan Democrats, John Delaney has only been able to pull about 1%. I don't think he's going to get out of the Iowa caucus. He might even drop out before. We have a new face, Tulsi Gabbard, U.S. Representative from Hawaii. She has made a name for herself. I don't think she's going to have the party backing from the machine. She might get a little progressive support, but she is a sleeper candidate. I'll just tell you right now, I think if Tulsi does well, she's going to be on the short list for VP candidates. We have a somewhat known Kirsten Gillibrand, U.S. Senator from New York. Gillibrand is very progressive, but she wasn't always progressive as a U.S. representative. And then senator, she was more of a Democratic centrist. That might come back to haunt her. We also have Kamala Harris, senator from California. She's also highly critical of the presidency and the kind of a front runner for the Trump resistance. But she has something in her past that will not resonate well with the far left, and that is she was a prosecutor, an attorney general, and I believe she was a very good one. So that might be offensive to the progressive wing of the party. Don't see her getting out too far, but she is definitely a heavy candidate. But I don't see her getting the nomination. I don't think she'll make it to Super Tuesday. She might, but she won't survive Super Tuesday. Jay Inslee, current governor of Washington, very progressive. He has some defeats, though, in a very progressive state for some of his policies. Might be too far left, even for the far left progressive people. Unknown. Don't think he's going to get a lot of traction. Maybe locally and the statewide, but it's not going to happen nationally. Same for Amy Klobuchar, very progressive. She is a senator from Minnesota, very well known in Minnesota, but not too well known in the country. Um, Progressives will like her stance. However, I don't think they will get behind her just because she doesn't have the name recognition. She also has a couple of stories out on her where she's been abusive to staff members, where her current staff in D.C. actually refused to be on her presidential bid committee. So, front runner, or at least the perceived front runner, is Bernie Sanders. Got a couple things coming out of the closet for Bernie, and most people will say that he is the front runner and that he is the guy to beat for the nomination. I believe that he will be. He'll be there to the bitter end, but I don't think he's going to capture the nomination. I think something is going to catch up to him. Elizabeth Warren, U.S. Senator from Massachusetts, very well known, very progressive, very much adored by the far left, except she's got something that has come out. She has registered for many things as a minority, as a Native American, and a recent DNA test shows that she is no more Native American than any other white person. So this is something I don't see the progressive left forgiving her, and I don't see the right or the far right forgiving her or letting it go. I think they will remind the country over and over and over. And that is a tactic that actually works. And we have a few unknown. This Marianne Williamson, she's a spiritual leader, and I have no clue who she is. But I guess she was an advisor to Oprah Winfrey, and Oprah carries some name recognition. And that might help her, but she's a minor candidate, and I don't see her getting up into the big leagues. Same with this Andrew Young. Never heard of him. He's an entrepreneur and founder of Venture for America. Never heard of that either. Don't think he'll get the traction, not unless he's got hundreds of millions of dollars to keep himself there. But even so, his face will be there. He'll be on the debate, the national debates. But I don't see it happening. I don't think he gets out of Iowa or New Hampshire. But he could. We'll see. And then, of course, the one I have heard of the minor candidates, Richard Ojeda. He's a former West Virginia state senator, and he was featured on Michael Moore's more recent documentary. A very interesting guy, but as you can see here, uh, he's already suspended his campaign, and well, there you go. What can you do? Lots of Democratic candidates. They're going to come and go. Biggest names will hang on until Super Tuesday, which is March 3rd, 2020. That's when 10 states vote in the primary on a single day. They have to win some of those or a little bit of those to be able to stay in. Many will drop out before then. Many won't survive the Iowa caucuses on February 3rd, the New Hampshire primary February 11th, the Nevada caucuses on February 22nd, and the South Carolina primary on February 28th. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Again, this is just for fun. This is not my official prediction. Anyway, for the most part, the stronger candidates that we have now are very progressive. Most are signing on to the Green Deal, where the Earth will be unlivable in 12 years unless we no longer fly airplanes and we get rid of all the farting cows. What? No more beef? Oh, come on. And having a far left progressive candidate, again, the front runner is Bernie. I disagree. I don't think he's going to get the nomination. As of now, it'll probably be Booker, maybe Gillibrand for the Democratic nomination. I think the trend will go progressive for the Democratic Party, but there's also a trend on the right. Last several weeks, several months of the Trump rallies, there's about 25% of the people who are showing up to the Trump rallies who did not vote in 2016 or actually voted against Trump in 2016. But most of them, the vast majority of this 25%, are now more likely to vote in 2020. Even though his popularity is, well, let's just say not good. The people that are coming out and saying they're going to vote for him is going up. Majority of people are questioning getting rid of airplanes and farting cows. They're questioning how the progressive left will pay for universal health care and free college tuition. Answers that are given from the left are currently leaving some of these voters very skeptical. Also, the news media coverage for Trump has been largely negative to the Trump presidency, and people are actually getting tired of it. How do we know this? The ratings are showing people are tuning out, and they're tuning into alternative media like Facebook and YouTube. So my early prediction, Trump will win a second term just like he did on his first election. The Senate will stay in the hands of the Republicans, and the Democrats will lose some seats, but they will maintain a majority in the House for the 2020 election. Again, my real prediction will be made on January 17th, 2020, for my 50th birthday. I'll make that prediction and I will stick to it no matter what. You all have a beautiful day. Let's take a look at that picture again. Oh, look at him. He's like the sun. All right. Have a good one. Take care.